What's up guys, it's Grand Marquis here, and this time bringing you information about The Sims 4 from Gamescom. Now I know you may be thinking like, Gamescom ended like a week ago, where have you been? But the reason I waited so long is to sort of let the information sort of sink in, let everyone get their information out, because they had to read through all the paperwork, things were embargoed, so they couldn't say everything exactly the day the Gamescom ended. So I decided to wait a week, give them time to get their information out. So without further ado, let's get this started. So create a sim. Now, when the photos were leaked about Create a Sim, and when they sort of had those teasers, it was sort of hinted that Create a Sim would be like clay, and that's exactly what it is. So as opposed to the sliders, they say they got rid of sliders, but you actually have the fitness size slider, the voice slider, and they probably have more that they haven't talked about, but for the most part, they've gotten rid of sliders, and now you have direct manipulation, which is just like they said, it's similar to clay. So as opposed to using some kind of tool to show how your Sim's body is going to be, you're actually using it to make your Sim's body. You're pushing and pulling exactly how they said, and I think it's cool. In the photos that they are showing, it just looks super nice, and you can go into like a ton of detail. Like, you can start off with the front part of the body, then you can turn to the side and get like a different detail. So like with the front, you can do, I guess, the boobs for the girls, the shoulders. Then you can turn it to the side and you can sort of do like the belly and the butt, and then you can sort of zoom into the face, get the facial features. Then you can even zoom in more to the face to get like the lip crease, the eyebrow arch, the irises. It's a ton of detail into it, and it's looking very cool to me. One thing about Create a Sim that I have to stress is that there's no height. Yes, they have confirmed that there's no height. There's no chance of there being height, because like they said, it will mess up the animations. And at first I didn't really understand that. I was like, you got teenage Sims and adult Sims, kid Sims and adult Sims talking to each other, but then I could sort of see how I could mess it up, and people said that the mod in The Sims 3 messed it up. So yeah, there's no height. And the reason I was disappointed by this is because I was super sure that there would be height. Like, I can go back to like way back in May, and I was like, yes, there's height. I'm like 100% sure, 98 sure. I was super sure. But now that it's not in there, height wasn't too much of an important feature to me. Just the simple fact that I thought that it would be in there is the reason I'm disappointed. But I don't know, maybe in The Sims 5, like I said, it's not too much of an important feature to me, but it's not there. So yeah, no height. In an earlier video, I was talking about how I wish that the feet could be manipulated and made bigger. They actually can. They just came out and said that the feet can be changed to make bigger, smaller, I guess, which is pretty cool. It adds a nice touch, even though you don't really look at the feet. But something that can't be manipulated is the hands. The hands, I can see why, because sort of like the height, that will mess up the animations, like big hands trying to grab something or high five, and it would sort of mess it up. I can see the reason to why they did that. You also cannot manipulate the hair. Yes, so you can choose the hairstyle, but you cannot make it longer or shorter or any of that. So manipulate the feet, but not the hands and the hair. The M or the F, but not the HH. Ha, the HH. Another thing I was also talking about is how I did not like the background of Create a Sim, but it did kind of grow on me from Gamescom. I did start to like it, but kind of find out that's not the final background. No, they have stated that that background was only for Gamescom. So I knew things were changing, but I really thought the Create a Sim background was like the final thing. So no, maybe they'll be in the room. Maybe we can get mirrors to see the body better. All we know is that that was just like a temporary background just for Gamescom. So, and I was just beginning to like it, but it's okay. Hopefully the new one will be even better. Create a Sim will also feature body ethnic templates, which is like super cool. And the way they said that when you get like your random Sim, it actually appear to match, but I guess we'll have to be the judge of that to actually see if it actually matches. But yes, so they're sort of moving to have ethnic diversity, so you can choose your ethnic type, sort of base it around the ethnic type, and you can also choose like your body type. But of course, it's not the final thing. It's just a template. You can still alternate it and make it completely different from what it was, but it's just nice to know that there's just something there to start out with if you need help, even though Create a Sim is looking pretty simple and nice, like simple and advanced at the same time. It's nice. As to be expected, you can also change the voice of your sim. Yes, there are 3 different voice types. The girls have sweet, melodic, or lilted, which I need to look up. If you know what lilted means, then tell me. Male voices, you have clear, warm, or brash. So I think that's very nice. And then of course you don't just choose those 3, you choose those 3 and then you go into even more detail. So hopefully it'll be different than The Sims 3, because The Sims 3 you can change your voices, but to me it doesn't really make a difference with the sliders. So, and I'm pretty sure voice will be a slider. Oh yes it is, because I already said that. But yeah, so hopefully the voices will be more distinguished than they were in The Sims 3. There will be freckles, birthmarks, and tattoos in the series, because even though they said that they might not be in the base game, which sort of sucks to know that they're already holding back on us from some things. But yes, so birthmarks, tattoos, and freckles, but not in the base game so far. Maybe they'll add them, maybe they won't. I mean, tattoos weren't added to ambitions, and I would like to see how birthmarks will work. Like, how extreme could you make a birthmark, and how would that pass down from generation to generation? That would be super cool to see, but we might not be seeing it from the start. So yeah. One thing we knew that they took out was create a style, but now we know, see this is one of the reasons why I waited a week later, but now we know not only have they taken out create a style, which, you know, disappointed a ton of fans. I didn't really use create a style every so often, but there was one thing I did like to use that they have taken out, which is the ability to highlight your hair and go into detail. And I guess this sort of makes sense because the hair isn't all that detailed as it is in The Sims 3, but yes, as of now, you can only choose a solid color for your hair, and right now they are not planning to add hair details, so one color for your hair, that's it. Right now, the user interface checkbox that they shows that you will go through your body shape, your body size, face, skin tone, hair, facial hair, voice, and clothing. So those are the little check boxes you'll go through before you're done creating your sim and go to like the personality and stuff. Facial hair. So far there's been no body hair to be seen, and then they didn't add that to, I don't know, what, Showtime? Crap, I don't even know. But you know, it wasn't in the Sims 3 base game, so it's not going to kill us. But yeah, there is facial hair. No body hair. Speaking of clothing, let's move on to that though. Currently, as I said before, there's no creative style with the clothes, but there's like a little color wheel that lets you change the colors of the clothes. So no creative style, but you can still change the colors, but it will be like a certain base color. Hats. One thing that a lot of people hated in The Sims 3, including me, and it's that like the hats were connected to the hairstyle. Oh my gosh, that hat looks nice. Well, I mean, you can't get it unless you want the ugly hairstyle, and then the hats and the hairstyle never even really matched, so that really sucked. But in The Sims 4, hats, hairstyle together, they're separate things, and I hope this will be the same for many other accessories, like for the girls, maybe bows and stuff, because I hated them being connected to hair. And like I said, the hair was usually ugly, which sort of sucked, but worry about that no more in The Sims 4. Hey, that rhymes. No more in The Sims 4. Okay, so you know how in The Sims 3 the girls that I made, they never ever really wore boots, like ever, because when you put the boots on, the boots was like always going through the pants or vice versa. Like, they never really matched, so they added like a boot system, as they call it. So say your pants are long and then they get wide at the bottom, the boots will go in the pants, just to be expected. Say your pants are tight, then the boots will cover the pants. So they've shown that, as you can see in these pictures here, and it's just very nice to see that they fit well together. So hopefully there won't be any other like clothes glitches. Like, as we can see with Big Sims, the clothes still fit nicely and you don't see like those white holes. So that's great to know that boots will match, and hopefully, like I said, all the clothes could possibly match together. Maybe you could tuck shirts in. I mean, I'm just talking now, but boots and pants matching together has been confirmed. That other stuff, no, but it's still nice just to see that, and hopefully the same will be with like the boys. Personality. So what we have seen from Gamescom is that traits have returned, which I was sort of disappointed by that, because it's from The Sims 3 and I was expecting a different personality system. Alas, traits have returned, but hopefully they're different. Hopefully they affect your emotional status better. You know, the same way that when University came out, traits sort of helped major, and it would be like this trait helps with this major. Hopefully it'll be like this trait sort of contributes to this emotion, because that'd be nice. And I hope traits are more diverse and actually create Sims that are more emotionally aware, I guess. I mean, I know they're supposed to be emotionally aware, but to me, Sims 3 fell flat with traits. Like, traits, every so often a Sim will have a different reaction. Other than that, they were exactly the same. And another thing that sucks is that it's only 5 traits, which I was expecting it to be, I don't know, even if they did do traits, which they did, I was expecting it to be more, because The Sims 3 has 5 traits, so why not it be a little bit more? And then The Sims 3 went to 7 traits when University Life came out, and I know you want to keep it, what's the word, unique, but it would have been cool to see more. And as of now, there are over 50 traits, as of now. I hope they change that, because in The Sims 3 there are over 60 traits in the base game. So yeah, if you're going to be reusing that personality system, you should take some traits and add even more. It should be like 70 or more traits. Add to the diversity. Take some that came with the expansion packs, I guess. Make them different though. Don't make them the same. I know you'll have some like evil and genius and friendly forever, but just make them a little bit different than what The Sims 3 had. There is no more wishes and wants system. Yes, wishes and wants have been taken away. Wishes were in The Sims 3, wants and fears were in The Sims 2. They are now gone because they wanted players to explore the game more, which makes sense, because I know me and probably other simmers, you have that sim and they have their wishes and you're like, I don't want to do that because that's not a part of their wish, or I'm going to do that because it's a part of their wish, but I won't do like that part of this section. So the point is, wishes and wants did make gameplay restrictive, because you only did the things that your sims wanted to do and you didn't do things that they didn't want to do. So they took that away so that players will want to explore everything, as opposed to saying my sim doesn't like this, so I'm not going to do this. But they do have the aspirations back from The Sims 2. Aspiration is like the lifetime reward. Not like, it is the lifetime reward system, just with a different name. So I don't know, I guess the things you do that helps that will contribute to your aspirational points. But I mean, I think that's cool to have aspiration and no wants and needs, because it did wants, you still have needs, wants and fears and wishes, because it did restrict my gameplay. I know I did, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to do that until I get a wish, or I'm not going to do that because I don't have that wish. So now I'm going to be more open to play, and hopefully you guys will be as well. At Gamescom, we also saw that there were 5 life stages. Oh my god, everyone just started freaking out. I didn't really freak out because, again, it's just a user interface isn't even all the way finished, and they probably just had that just because. And people will start speculating, and me, I am hoping for like a preteen life stage, because that jump from child to teenager is sort of big, so I'm hoping for like a preteen life stage. But you never know, maybe they took away young adults, maybe they took away toddlers. I hope they didn't, well, not toddlers, but took them away and created a sim. But I hope they didn't take away young adults. I sort of like them because it sort of makes your sims lives longer, and I'm pretty sure they'll make them longer. You just, maybe you can't create children and create a sim anymore, I don't know. But again, it's not the final version, so they probably was just like, let's put these there just so they can be there, because as you can see, they're exactly the same size, and they're just sort of there, sort of like the traits. So everyone, don't freak out just yet, and hopefully they won't make us freak out anytime soon. There's a possibility of having your favorite food, color, and music. I would hope so, and I hope that if you do, it contributes to your sim. Because in The Sims 3, you had those favorites, but like, what was the point? Nothing. Sims benefited from them nothing. Like, that didn't even make sense. But Sims did not benefit from favorite food, music, or color. Seriously, like, they didn't even get a moodlet for it, which, I mean, it was just something there. The Sims didn't react to hearing their favorite genre or seeing their favorite food or want to have their favorite color. It was just something that was just in that Sims panel that didn't really matter. And the last thing about personality that we know so far is that there are different walk styles now. There are 4 different walk styles. You have the normal style, which is just the one normal Sims walk in. Then you have the perky one, which I don't know, I call it snooty or whatever. Well, no, it's not even snooty, it's perky, which is like the happiest walk. So that's sort of how I walk. My family talks about me walking like that all the time. Like, I walk on my toes and like bounce around. That's like the perky type of walk. Then you have the snooty walk, which I call prissy. It's like, walking with your nose up, like, yeah, I'm the stuff. Don't even think you're better than me. And then you have the swagger walk. Yeah, I'm a swagger walk. And it's just what it says, just walking with a little swagger. So if you're gonna have a flirty Sims, give them the swagger walk. That'd be sort of cool. And then it's not always the same walk style. Your walk styles could be overridden by your emotions, as to be expected. So if your Sim's sad, they'll be walking with a hunch, and if your Sim's mad, they'll be like walking stomping, and if they're happy, they might be skipping. But it's not permanent. It changes. And another thing that's cool is that children inherit your walk style. So if you have kids, they inherit it. I hope it's not random, because in The Sims 3 you inherited things, quote unquote, but it was basically completely random. So I'm really ready to see those walk styles in action and changing, and hopefully those aren't the only ones. Maybe that has some more, like I don't know, just maybe add some more. But right now, that's very nice to see that they really are adding to the personality of The Sims a ton. Emotions are actually the big thing that The Sims 4 is supposed to be bringing, which sort of took me by surprise. Actually, I don't know why, but it did not take me by surprise. When they confirmed emotions, I was just like, huh. And even when we had that leaked picture of the Sim with the fine emotion, I thought that his name was like Banana, so I didn't think none of it. But I thought the big feature would be multitasking, but no, you have multitasking and emotions, which is just nice, and they look very promising right now. And in The Sims 4, they're supposed to be, shown as opposed to read, because in The Sims 3, you read your emotion. If your Sim was feeling down, you read the moodlet. They didn't really show it. If your Sim was sad, you read the moodlet. Yeah, every so often they'd be like, oh, and start crying, but then they just continue about their day. But in The Sims 4, you actually see their emotion, and they'll continue to have it, and all that stuff. And then it'll have a long-term effect, as opposed to a short-term effect. Like The Sims 3, you had your moodlet, it lasted for like however, and then they were just done. Like, who's my mama, who died? I don't even know who that is. Like, they completely forgot about it. But in The Sims 4, they'll remember things for a lifetime, supposedly. And there will also be memories, and memories will trigger emotions. So say you're taking a stroll back down memory lane, then I don't know, if you remember your mom or go to the funeral, it could trigger that emotional state, which I think is cool, because I hated how Sims had no emotions but for that period, and then it was just gone like that. They will also influence gameplay and actions that you can do. So say that your Sim is happy, they can do more things. If your Sim is flirty, then they can do flirtatious things. But if it's the other way around, then they can't do the things. Such as if your Sim is depressed, he will not be able to flirt. If your Sim is angry, he will not be able to be, I guess, friendly. They sort of got to cool down. It's sort of like real life too, which it adds to that little realism that everyone's been wanting. And then with your emotions, it'll open up certain gameplay. Like, say for instance, in The Sims 3, your relationship bar said extremely irresistible. Then you opened up those actions. In The Sims 4, your emotion will open up different actions, and they're sort of like temporary traits. You can do things with them, you can do things without them. One example is that even like children in other life stages have different emotions, and they react to everything differently, because it's sort of like similar emotions, but they do different things. Like, for instance, there's this pirate ship playground. Kids cannot interact with them when they're sad, but if they're happy, go on ahead. Parents can play with them, vice versa. So they can do certain things when they have certain emotions, which I think will be super cool. Everyone has confirmed that there are 15 emotions in the game, and using the gameplay demo and the examples that the sites gave me, I was able to figure out all 15 of them. I think, I might be wrong, and they may add some more later on, but I came up with the 15 using the gameplay and the demo. So you have confident, happy, sad, inspired, hysterical, energized, angry, flirty, depressed, furious, cranky, passionate, bored, fine, and focused. Those are the 15 emotions that I went through the gameplay and went through the examples and was like, that's it right there. Those are the 15, but maybe to be more. And they did say that they will branch off, so maybe they mean 15 basic emotions such as angry, and then it branches off to furious, cranky. So if that's the case, it'll be way much more than 15 emotions. And one thing I expressed earlier in a different video, that I was scared that there will barely be emotions, but from what we see, there are a ton of emotions to keep your Sims occupied. A question I had though is, will emotions replace mood? Because if you think about it, mood and emotion is basically the same thing. It is. Mood is your emotional state. So will there be a mood bar, or will it just be emotions? I hope they took away the mood, because like I said, it's the same thing. One thing that scared the crap out of me though, I found out you can die from emotions. When I found that out, I was just super scared, because I love my Sims. I don't want them to die, and they can actually die of laughter, die of embarrassment, die of anger, and it started to scare me. But they sort of, let me relax a little by saying that there'll be a ton of warning signs before your Sim dies, and it won't just be instant. So say your Sim's angry for I don't know, a long time, then he might have a heart attack and die, which sort of makes sense. So, but it's scary to me because I love my Sims, but the simple fact that they add a ton of warnings sort of lessens that fear that I had. Tons of things affect your emotions, like the music, TV, food, even the environment, but they said only things that make sense, quote unquote. So I guess if you walk into a room and you have a dresser right there in the bed, it won't really affect your mood. But if you walk into this, I don't know, black room with heavy metal on the wall, then you might get a little angry and can have a good workout. Or if you walked into a room that was all red with a love seat and risque paintings, then they'll be all flirty. Things that make sense. So it won't be completely random. And also work affects your emotion. You can go into work happy, come out stressed. You can go in there stressed, come out happy, even though stress hasn't been confirmed as an emotion. But I don't see why not, because stress seems like a good emotion now that I think about it, and I just came up with that right now. But yes, work will affect your emotion and vice versa. So the better your emotion is, the better you'll do at work. The worse your emotion is, the worse you'll do at work. It's just like real life. Then say you're angry and you need to relieve some stress. There's ways to do that. Bubble baths are not only just to have a moodlet now, they actually help. So if your Sim's angry, they could take a bubble bath or punching bag. Use a punching bag and take out some of that anger, or even take a cool shower to literally cool down. Then you could take a salty shower to let out a good cry if you're depressed. So it's sort of I don't know, the different actions that you had in The Sims 3 with trait, but now it actually helps your Sim. And I guess if they're feeling confident, they can pee like a champion, which is sort of funny to me. It doesn't really do anything. That's how Sims 3 was though. You had take evil shower, take evil slumber, and it really didn't do anything. But in The Sims 4, things will actually benefit. Taking a cool shower will actually help your Sim cool down and relax. Taking a bubble bath will actually help them relax and help their mood feel better. And another thing that people were scared about when they showed the gameplay demo was how fast the emotions changed during the gameplay. They changed really fast. And oh my god, it is 12 o'clock in the morning. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god, it's 12:01 in the morning. I feel wide awake. Anyway, but yes, people were scared that I can't believe it's 12. Okay. People were scared that the emotions would change super fast, and I said in an earlier video that I don't think it was. Maybe it was just to show the emotions. And then Rachel Franklin actually confirmed that. She was like, what you saw in the gameplay isn't how fast they change, which is great, because, and she was like, yeah, we were just doing it to show you guys. They don't actually change that fast. Sims aren't bipolar, but I'm pretty sure they could be. And one thing I hope they don't really play around with is depression. Depression is a super serious thing. So hopefully it takes a lot to get your Sims depressed, and depression is not like a quick thing to get over. And if you do get depressed, it should have like a long-lasting effect. But luckily, your Sims can't commit suicide, so that's nice. There are 10 skills separated into 3 different categories, which are focus, inspiration, and energy. There's a new smart sim technology because obviously we were playing with dumb sim technology before, and they promised that it won't be the same problems as recent games such as routing issues, but like I said, I believe it when I see it, even though the technology could be nice. And people were hoping that it was related to smart glass, or no, not hoping, just wondering if it was related to smart glass because apparently that caused problems. But from what I saw with the SimCity, I mean, it looked pretty cool to me. I didn't really play it because of that online failure and stuff, but they're supposed to be smarter, not have the same problems as other Sims, and I guess that's what makes them smarter and emotionally aware, because they're using smart sim technology. Then again, everything, just because it says smart on it doesn't mean it's actually smart. How many of us have smartphones that we just want to throw across the wall sometimes, like seriously? So hopefully we won't want to throw our Sims across the wall and end up like throwing our computers, because that will be horrible. And with that, you're supposed to be able to control the mind, the body, and the heart of the Sims, or at least that's what they kept saying. So like I said, I guess we'll see. The Sims town is one of them, is Sims Riviera. Now I know you're like, one of them? What? There's multiple towns? Trust me, there's multiple towns. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. Then again, there wasn't a doubt in my mind about height either. But they actually showed this. You can look at the the gameplay trailer and the pictures, and there's one that looks reminiscent of New Orleans. Then there's one that looks reminiscent of Europe. So either that's like a super huge town with like 2 different districts, or those are 2 different towns, which I believe they're 2 different towns. And with The Sims 3 Into the Future, with the holographic wall that's like the Hunger Games thingy, you can actually find the Sims 3 Riviera, which is like a seaside town, and like it's a ton of buildings, which hopefully aren't rabbit holes. I really hope so. And it's like a nice little bay view of the area. So yeah, more than one town hopefully, and you can start looking at that when you get into the future. Now another reason that I'm really glad that I waited until like today or night or whenever to do this is because there was some controversy that came out the other day with Grant Roddick talking about how Sims can be depressed or sad if they start to gain weight. And oh my gosh, not everyone, but it caused some uproar and a ton. Like, ooh, the Sims community was just like going off the wall, seriously. Because I don't know, people were just, well, I do know people, you know, people go through that stuff every day, and they were just like, they don't want to see that in game because they don't play Sims for realism. But then I found it super ironic, because I'm pretty sure you guys remember 2 weeks ago when people were complaining about how the Sims look because they weren't realistic enough. And then they come out with that. So Grant Roddick came out on like Twitter, and he was saying that he didn't mean that, and that it was possible, but they weren't going to add it. And I actually think that that was a cover-up. I think they actually intended for like depression of gaining weight to be in there, but they changed it up so that they can stop the outroar. And I actually think that it might still be in there just because they don't say it. But see, the thing is, The Sims 3 babied down the Sims series so much. Like, The Sims 3 can almost be E for everyone if it was not for sexual content. Seriously. And I bet if they came out with an article talking about how children can die in The Sims 4, everyone would hate it. If they talked about how pregnant Sims could die in The Sims 4, everyone would hate it. You know, they'd be thinking it's so harsh, and they don't play The Sims for realism. But it seems to escape everyone's mind that the same thing happened in The Sims 2. No one was really complaining when The Sims 2 did that, but I guess going from The Sims 2 to The Sims 3, it really took it down. Like, The Sims 2 was amazing. It had those quirky graphics. The Sims were quirky and humorous and funny, but it was also serious at times. You know, in The Sims 2, you can actually get sick. You ain't get no 2-day moodlet that didn't really mean anything. In The Sims 2, you could get sick. You had sick days. You could die from sickness. I remember one time when I was playing with like the Pleasants and Angela grew up, and I was pregnant, and her hunger was going down like crazy, and I ended up dying pregnant, and it was just like wow. And you know, in The Sims 2, as they got bigger, they would sort of check out their body. I guess a little bit insecurity. I remember my teenage son died. Like The Sims 2 was a fun, somewhat childish game, but it was also real. And people, I guess, failed to realize that those things were in The Sims 2. And in the article, Grant has said that it will be possible for Sims to be, you know, disappointed and sad about their height, but that it wouldn't be the case for all Sims, and I could see that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you made your Sim big from Create a Sim, they would not be mad about their height. But I'm pretty sure if your Sim was super athletic, you know, boasting about everything, wanted to be the strongest person in the world, and then sort of got big, I could see where that could sort of play into place. And with me, I don't know, I was fine with that because it adds a little bit to the realism, and like I said, it was in The Sims 2. One thing I was hoping for though is that maybe your Sims could also be sad when they got too skinny, you know. I mean, that's sort of what the emotions are bringing. And Grant said that it wouldn't be in the game, but like I said, I think they're actually still going to keep it in the game. You just not going to know about it. You're going to be like, "Whoa, I'm happy they removed that," when they actually didn't, and it's going to be the same from the start. But I don't know. I guess you know, Sims 3 really did baby down the series, but Sims 4 is taking it back up a notch with the happiness and realism at the same time, and that's like the balance for a Sims game. As of now, there are also a couple editions of The Sims 4, and the price. So, okay, here we go. You have the regular / the limited edition, which is usually the same price. It is $60. Yes. And it comes with the Life of the Party Tiki Bar, which is just a bar, you know, and I'm happy that they're adding some of the stuff from previous expansions into the base game. Like, there can be groups already in the base game as opposed to waiting till your party in one. There's already bars in there. Hopefully there's a mixologist. Okay, then you have the exclusive edition for $70, which is the Tiki Bar, then the Up All Night, which come with like a laser light show thing, different parties. That's cool that they're adding parties, more outfits, decorations, and recipes, and of course a digital soundtrack. Then you have the premium edition for $80, which is everything, and then a creator handbook, you know, on how to create Sims, which we all sort of know how to do, but I don't know, if you just want to have that from the start, then yeah. Then you have the collector's edition, which so far is just in Germany, and there's no price yet, but it comes with the USB and I don't know, I guess extra book, because the picture, as you can see, the book's super big. So yeah, but the thing about prices, they're going to be more expensive. If you looked at the trend from The Sims, then you can see that they've sort of went up. I don't know about The Sims 1 for sure, but I can sort of guess that The Sims 1 was $20, and that EPs and SPs were like $15 and $10, I'm guessing. But I know The Sims 2 was like the third one. Hold on. $40. That's what it was. $40. Then 30 for EPs, 20 for SPs. And The Sims 3 went up to $50. 40 for EPs, 30 for SPs, and then like more than 50 for Store Worlds, which barely brought anything. And I still don't understand how Store World is more expensive than an expansion pack. Like, are you kidding me? But so yes, expect The Sims 4 to be $60 with $50 EPs and $40 SPs, because that's the way the trend goes. Inflation. And expect The Sims 5 to be $70 with $60. It's just going to keep going up to $10. That's just like the trend. So be ready for $50 expansion packs and $40 stuff packs. But along with the prices that have been confirmed, there has been no release date confirmation. All we know is coming 2014. Right now it's supposed to come early 2014, but they're subject to bump it. And I want it to come out at like around May, because I think that's the perfect time, like the end of May, because I feel like The Sims is more of a summer game. Plus, if it comes out in the summer, then everyone could enjoy it in the summer without having to worry about school. So that would be nice. I don't think Sims is more of a winter game. Maybe even a little bit of a spring game, but I don't know, we'll see. But there have been release dates all over the internet. Don't really pay those any attention because none of them are true. Retailers have to put out a release date just to have it. I've seen release dates from January to December. So we will find out when we find out, and even when we find out, that might not be the final thing, and it may be pushed back. I sort of stuttered there, pushed back. And one of the last things I want to stress about the game, at Gamescom, they confirmed The Sims 4, as of Gamescom, was in pre-alpha stage. Pre-alpha stage, not alpha stage. Pre-alpha stage. So let me explain the game stages for you. I had to look this up so I could see it too. Okay, there are 4 stages to a game. You have the just beginning, which I don't think really counts as a stage, but then you have the pre-alpha stage, the alpha stage, the beta stage, and the complete stage. So if you can do the math, that means that the pre-alpha stage is about 25% done of the game, a little bit more. It's not 50. It's sort of like math. It's less than 50, greater than 25. That's what it is. So it's somewhere in between there. And me, honestly, I think The Sims 4 looks great, seriously, and it's only a little bit over 25% done. Like, are you kidding me? Other people though, not so much. They're complaining about how the graphics look. I mean, people are actually falling for, like, are you serious? There's only 4 hairstyles? Like, I hate this game. Like, really? Do you think that they would release a game with only 4 hairstyles and, like, a couple of outfits? Like, seriously, people are actually complaining about that. It's sort of, I actually had to laugh about it. Like, do you really think they release a game with just 4 hairstyles? And speaking of hair, the hair will change. Like, that hair is not final. If they said that way back in May when they released that teaser and showed The Sims, which to me, I sort of like that boundier look a little bit better than this more cartoonier look. But the hairstyle in that teaser was like hair 1.5, and now they're on like hair 3.0, and the hair, you can see the visible difference. And me, The Sims look better every time I see them. From like those leaked pictures to the Gamescom gameplay, they look different. And the graphics are going to keep changing. Now, that cartoony style, that's there to stay. So if you're disappointed about that, it ain't nothing I can tell you, because it's going to have that cartoony style no matter what. Which is another thing. People complain talking about the graphics are horrible. No, there's a difference between graphics and style. Huge difference. The Sims 4 graphics look better than The Sims 3. Does the style look more realistic? No, the style's cartoonier, but the graphics look way much better. It's a difference between graphics and style. If I showed you every odd game of The Sims seems to be more realistic. Like The Sims 1 was more realistic than The Sims 2, even though the graphics weren't that fine. And The Sims 3 were more realistic than, 4. But graphics, style, 2 different things. If I showed you The Sims 2 and The Sims 1, which one has better graphics? Yeah, The Sims 2. It looks cartoonier than The Sims 1. But that doesn't mean the graphics are better. Same thing with like 1 and 4, or 3 and 4, or even 3 and 2. Well, you can't really go backwards, but 3 and 4. 4 looks better. Just because it doesn't look realistic does not mean the graphics are horrible. Difference. Graphics, style. 2 different. If I showed you Call of Duty Ghosts and then I showed you Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you can see the graphical difference. Don't they both, based off of realism, they both look realistic, but you can see the graphical difference. It's not, Sims 4 does not look horrible graphically. It may not look as realistic as you want it to, but it is not horrible graphically. And the graphics will only get better. And people were complaining about things that they hadn't added in, like creative style. Like, I can see that, but creative style might be in. They've seen the backlash, and everyone's just been like, not for it. Me, I was more concerned about the hair, which they said maybe not a chance. Creative style, I'm a little bit shocked like everyone else that they didn't include it in the base game from the start. But then again, I mean, I didn't really care about it. But it is a nice feature, and it lets you create your sim. But yes, it may make it in the final version. This is pre-alpha, guys, and it just, I hate seeing all this hate that's being spread around. People are talking about how much they hate the Sims for how they're not going to get it and all that, and I'm just like, you barely know anything about the game. Just because you haven't seen the final version doesn't, like, it's a difference. And then people use their opinion as an excuse. They're like, it's my opinion, I can say what I want. No, it's a difference between opinion and like straight up rudeness. You don't have to be rude to express your opinion. If you don't like the way the Sims look, just be like, I'm not sure about this look. I don't think I want to buy the game. Some people are just like, oh, I hate this. The graphics are horrible. There's only 4 house styles. There's no creative style to it. I freaking hate this game. I'm not getting it. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, the people who know how to express their dislike in a civilized manner, thank you. Thank you very much for showing that you don't like a game without completely trashing it. It's a difference between showing your opinion and trashing it. Yes, the Sims team do need negative feedback, but negative feedback is not hating a game that you barely know anything about. And seriously, Simmers, like, no offense, but if you're being offended, this is probably you. Simmers can be like the biggest bandwagoners ever, like bigger than the Heat fans. Ooh! Like, for real, I remember in January when Into the Future was first announced. People were very skeptical of it. People were saying they hated that idea. It was going to be the worst. Me, I was skeptical of Into the Future. I was one of those calm people, and I was like, I don't think that's going to be very successful. But now that it's coming towards it, I'm just like, yeah, that looks nice. It's going out with a bang. And if you look at all of the reactions now for Into the Future, it's like completely positive. Like, I personally have not seen a negative reaction, even though I know they're out there. But yes, Simmers can be the biggest bandwagoners ever. Like, watch when The Sims 4. I really just want to write down the names of all these people I'm seeing talking about how much they hate The Sims 4 and watch them close to the release date when they're like, what? They have that in there? Oh my god, I love The Sims 4. I want to get it right now. I can't wait. At first, I was skeptical of it. You know, they don't say at first they were talking about how much they hate it. They say at first they were skeptical, and now they're in love with it. Just watch the reactions change, and some of them might not change. But the point is, just stop hating something that you don't even know. It's similar to fear of the unknown, and reactions are going to change. And just watch and look back to now. When The Sims 4 is out, look back to now and all of the negative and all the hate. And I don't know, I challenge you as a Simmer to take note of all the people talking about how much they hate it, and watch them when they're commenting like, oh my god, I love this, and then be like, wait, weren't you one of the people a couple months ago talking about how much you hated the game and would never get it and was waiting for 5, and now you're talking about how much you love it? But yes, the game is in pre-alpha stage, people. It's probably almost halfway there. I'm in love with the game, and barely anything is on it right now. So just imagine when everything's on it. That's all I want to say. I hate to go into a rant and, you know, sort of raise my voice. I was trying not to scream, but I hate to go into a rant, but it's just true. It's just true. Because Simmers can be like the worst, the harshest sometimes. Like, they can also be like never pleased. Like, one person was saying, you know, they'd be fine if they just put like rain and like a few pets in the base game, which I could see. But one Simmer pointed out, no, Simmers will not be fine. You can never please them either. Everyone begged for mermaids. When they put mermaids in there in the game, everyone was just like, what? And I sort of was too, but I mean, mermaids don't do much anyway, so just like that. So like, if they were to put rain in the base game, everyone's begging for weather, but I bet you if they were to put rain, people would be like, where's the snow? If they were to put snow, they'd be like, okay, where's the thunderstorms? Where's the, like, you can never please them. You put something in there and then they want more. It's like, can you just be happy with what we got? They don't even have to give us with what we got. And then they're like, but it's my money. And I'm like, but you asked for this. They put that in there and you ask for more. You can't get it all. So please, just chillax. Express your opinion in a nice way. And like I said, I hated to rant, but it was sort of necessary. But just watch as the opinions change like they're doing for Into the Future right now. Anyway, I would like to end this right here. I can't believe it's freaking 40 minutes. Like, I can talk forever. And if you're watching this all the way through, I appreciate it and thank you very much. And I would also like to give thanks to the websites which I got my information from: The Sims Resource, EdenStyle.it, of course, Sims VIP, and then the Jessa channel, which I didn't get this information from her, but she still like did like the first break of The Sims 4 pictures and stuff, and I'm still grateful for like that first Sims 4 information. Like, I'm still grateful for that. So thank you, Jessa channel. And then thank you just Germany, Gamescom, Sims Camp, the whole Sims team for putting this whole Sims Camp thing together and bringing everyone out there, and just Simmers in general. Thank you guys for watching this, and I don't know, just thank everyone. I'll put the links to the websites and the channels and everything. Just thank you. Thank you. Can I get a thank you? As to be expected, there are embargoes on some things, which I can understand embargoes because I don't want to know the information all from the start. So I will be back in about 2 weeks or in like 3 weeks, because on September 11th, the build buy mode embargo is over, so they can talk about build buy mode, and then the week after, the 18th, they can talk about animations that were in the game. So embargoes empower me. I like the way they spread them. But yes, like I said, thank you everyone. Thank you if you're watching this. Thank you if you're not watching this. Thank you if you just passed by it. Just thank you. And thank you to all the informational sites. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, like and subscribe if you would like to see more, and more information coming soon. So yeah, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye.